My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags.
Our guest today is a man who really is, in my opinion, a hero. He is surrounded by hostile forces, people who want to sexualize and pervert and indoctrinate children. His name is Terry Newsome. He's the president of Illinois Parents Involved in Education. I serve on the advisory board for U.S. Parents Involved in Education. Wonderful, wonderful organization. Really, they're dedicated to getting the feds out of our classrooms and protecting children. So Terry's the father of high school twins, and he was targeted by the Biden regime for being a domestic terrorist because he was speaking out against the vile, disgusting, outrageous pornography in his children's school. Thankfully, some members of Congress intervened and got him off that list, but he's still very active. He's not been intimidated. He's also struggling with cancer. I don't know if I was supposed to reveal that, but this man is just, he is tough as nails. Terry, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. We had you on the program some months ago to kind of give us an update, but I mean, things have gone totally crazy and you're still fighting back. Give us the latest update. You guys just had a town hall there. One of the left-wing congressmen was promoting porn in the schools, and you showed up and crashed the party. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so thank you very much for being on your show. I love being on your show. You're like the funniest PhD I know in my whole life, so I enjoy being on your show. So it seems like every time I'm on, things are getting worse and worse instead of better. Hopefully sometime in the future, we'll be on the show and we have some wins, but as you know, we've been fighting this battle with the porn. I think most people are familiar with genderqueer and some of the things that, you know, everybody's fighting throughout the nation. And most people probably saw what went viral last week with Senator John Kennedy and Mike Lee, where Kennedy read the stuff that's in my kids' schools. And my Illinois secretary, Janulius, admitted it was porn and national TV on the floor. And coincidentally, that very same week, when I didn't know this was going to be on the House floor, I had a book banning event that was hosted by radical leftist Sean Casten. His children attended my children's school for 2 years. This guy's been saying that the images are not porn, that we're trying to get out of school. We're trying to get pornography out of the school. So he had a book banning roundtable with about 5 or 6 people, some other Illinois politicians. We have that book banning bill that was enacted. One of the women that authored that bill was there. So what I brought with me, I brought about 15 or so grandparents and parents. I brought the big posters from the book Genderqueer and sat right in front of Sean Casten. And I sat in front of Sean Casten and Deborah Caldwell Stone from the Library Association, who Senator Mike Lee called out on the floor last week as well. And it was funny. I sent you some photos. I know we did this as a last minute thing.
Reagan, throw those photos up, please.
You can see Sean Casten's face. A picture's worth 1,000. So there, look at Sean Casten on the right. Right under the poster is that woman, Caldwell Stone, who Mike Lee called out on the floor. To the left is another woman. And then to the far left is a state senator who authored the book banning bill, and her name's Stava Murray. And I was showing all the radical leftists when somebody on the other panel was speaking and basically saying that this is not pornography. So I held that up and showed all the radical leftists in the audience, and they started booing at me and hissing at me. And Sean Casten was so flustered. He tried to chastise me. WGN was there, and Epic NTD News. And he goes, "There's only one person in this room that brought pornography to this library." And I was like, oh my God, I've been saying that for 2 years. So we agree. Why is it in the school? Not knowing that Secretary Janulius was saying the same thing on the floor the very same week. So these two clowns from Illinois finally admit it's pornography. Where we disagree, they think it's okay for children. It's not okay. Another thing is that, they wouldn't pick me to ask questions, everyone else but me. And I keep saying now is these radical leftists like Sean Casten, Janulius, and BJ Prickster are trying to tell us that without these pictures, the gay children won't feel included in the same school classroom as my children. So my question back to them, do they think so little of gay children or LGBT? Are they sexual animals, sexual deviant animals, that they walk around school thinking about oral sex pornography? And if they don't have it in their books, if they can't go in the library and they can't see oral sex in a library, they're not going to feel part of the class. They're not going to feel like a student like the rest of the kids. To me, they're just children. They have different sexual preferences, which is fine, and that's up to them. And they should have books that help them cope with their sexuality and all those things that, make them feel included. But I don't think they have to have an oral sex strap-on picture for them to feel included into the school system. Who needs that? My kids don't need that. Sorry for
nobody
rambling,
needs that, Terry. No, but I'm glad that you're bringing this out, and without getting too graphic, folks. And I don't want to show the images. We have the images, but I don't want to show them. They're just vile. They're disgusting. It's pictures of children engaging in sexual acts and homosexual acts. It's just vile stuff that they are now admitting is pornography, and it's in the schools. And Terry, you've been speaking out about this for a while, and so the Biden administration actually came after you. The last time we had you on, Antifa was coming after you. They were trying to get your events canceled. Now the Biden administration came after you. They actually put you on the special list where now every time you try to get on the airplane, you got to have practically 8 cavity searches. But you connected with a whole bunch of members of Congress, and they took an interest in this. They sent some letters. We've only got 3 or 4 minutes left, but give the folks a breakdown of what the Biden regime tried to do to retaliate against you for your efforts to protect kids from this bill.
Yeah, they put me on the terrorist watch list. They put my family through it when we flew. Then it got worse when I went to CPAC. They started, I had to go through intense security screening. Then when I went to the gate to board, they would send 5 agents and a undercover marshal and go through it again before I get on the plane. But thank God, Matt Gaetz sent a demand letter to Garland, Ray Mayorkas, and his attorney, John Wilson. I got to give a shout out to John. They were on TV today grilling Garland for the weaponization, of the government against parents like myself, as well as Pastor Lee, who was on your show. He's going to be on my show this Thursday. And our government, our country, everything that you said is into this lead-in. I mean, it's disgusting what's happened to our country. People like you, it's great that we have a channel, right, to expose this. And if you notice behind me, I started a podcast called Behind Enemy Lines. So this podcast is representing parents and Republicans in Illinois. We're behind enemy lines, and we're trying to fight. We're trying to fight for our kids, and we don't have any rights anymore. And we need, Congress to stand up and support us. We need them to help us because, even if we win the boards, the school boards, Pritzker put this law in that he'll take our money. He won't give us our own money to fund our own kids' school, our money. If we win the school boards at the local level and say those pictures that you can't show, those pictures that Sean Casten and Janulius say are pornography, we can't take them out of our school. And if we take them out of our school, all these guys are going to take out our money from our poor children. All because it's politics. They're trying to groom our children. And then you mentioned something about the Uniparty, right? So I'm also working as a grassroots leader with the Illinois GOP. The GOP is pummeled here in Illinois, and they have a big battle ahead of them. But you know what? I'm going to mention, I was told that, I have another state congressman in my kid's school, and his name's John Curran. I asked him 2 years ago for help. His kid, he's a Republican. He's the minority leader. He said, if I get involved here, it'll become political. I'm like, it is political. They want porn. We don't. A year ago, he said he was going to help. Now I'm on these shows, and I got my own show. I shot one across the bow. I told him as chief of staff, every time I'm on a show, until you stand up and defend your own daughter, my children, I'm going to call you out for being part of the Uniparty. We're at D+3. And I said, what's more important is your job and your reelection and these D+3 and keeping these radical leftists happy over our parents and our kids. If you can't represent your own child, and this is bad stuff. Now we got these Illinois politicians saying it's porn. Curran, you should come out and say, I agree with them. Porn's bad. You need to grow some and stand up and fight for us and represent our children because we need help here. And guys like you aren't helping us.
Terry, we are out of time, but I'm so glad you're calling these people out by name. For the folks who might be in Illinois and want to get involved, and for the folks who may want to watch your show, down to about 30 seconds, how can people find you?
So you can look me up on Facebook for I'm on ILUS Pie on Facebook, and then Behind Enemy Lines is on Rumble. It's at Behind Enemy Lines USA. And we're going to bring on guests and people, to help give us visibility, just like what you're doing for me. We want to give a voice to our people and share stories. There's so much stuff I haven't sent to you, Alex, of recordings and stuff.
Well, we're going to have to get you back on very soon to talk about it, Terry. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for standing there for the children. We really appreciate it. We'll get you back soon. All right, folks, that was Terry Newsome, president of Illinois Parents Involved in Education, a great, great organization doing heroic work in the People's Republic of Illinois. If you're watching us live here on Frank's Speech, Lindell.
Every time we pull up, you see stars, you see stripes, you see flags on the cars and the trucks and the bikes. Every time we pull up, we go hard, we outside, we got flags on our arms that are tatted there for life. Every time we pull up, we don't care if you're mad, we cherish this land, the haters can't get buried in rags. They set fire to old glory, turning fabric to ash. But every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is a man.